Welcome to the Egg Whisperer Show, a program exclusively designed to promote reproductive health awareness and discuss fertility preservation options. Here is your host, the Harvard-educated fertility specialist, Dr. Amy.
She's known as the Egg Whisperer.
Fertility expert Dr. Amy Vazadeh.
And you have yet another success story
Just launched by an East Bay fertility doctor.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Egg Whisperer Show. I'm so excited to have Dr. Nicole Kangas on today's show. Hi, Nicole.
Hi, Amy.
There's a reason why Nicole's on here, and the reason is she's going to talk to us about where to find support during your fertility journey. And there's no better person to talk about this. Nicole, tell us about yourself.
Yes, I am a therapist with a specialty in reproductive psychology. So that means I deal with infertility and really all things related to the family building process. I also deal with pregnancy loss as well as the emotional and mental health issues that go along with pregnancy and the postpartum period. I have a private practice in Lafayette, California, which is in the East Bay section of the San Francisco Bay Area. And in my private practice, I work with individuals, couples, and groups. I also do fertility coaching with people outside of California via telehealth and online sessions. And I do psychological evaluations and psychoeducational sessions for donors and surrogates and recipient families in the context of third-party reproduction. So really everything related to family building and mental health.
And you help my patients, especially those going through grief and loss. Being a fertility patient can be so traumatic. What made you go into this work?
Yeah, well, I went into this work really for a combination of professional and personal reasons. So professionally, I have a long-standing academic and clinical interest in women's reproductive mental health. During my PhD program, I focused specifically on infertility and women's well-being. And I've sort of carried that interest forward since then. Personally, I also have my own fertility story, and that really drives my passion for this work. When I started trying to have children, it became clear pretty quickly that I wasn't going to be able to do that without medical assistance. And I went through a series of failed treatment cycles and suffered through pregnancy loss. And I ultimately had my own very high-risk twin pregnancy on my journey to motherhood. But I get how incredibly hard it can be. I understand that. And I didn't have a therapist or a coach or anybody to help me when I went through it. I wish I had. I think it would have really made a difference. So now through my work, I'm able to help other women and other couples on their journey. And it's really, really meaningful. I absolutely love what I do. And I feel like it's such a privilege to get to work with other people on their family building mission.
Yeah, and you certainly have helped so many of my patients, so thank you for your work. What do you see as the most stressful part about being a fertility patient?
Yeah, I think that for most of my patients, the main worry or the ultimate worry is, will I be able to have a baby? Will I be able to become a parent? So with each treatment cycle, the question is, will this work? And it's not just the ultimate pregnancy test at the end with a positive or negative, but there's so many hurdles and tests and milestones within each cycle that can create a lot of stress and anxiety. So for some of my patients, that very first ultrasound where you're getting to look at how many follicles there are, or early on, how are they responding to the medicine? Is the lining thick enough for implantation? For IVF, people, very stressful around how many eggs are fertilized and how the embryos are developing. Are they genetically healthy? And of course, the pregnancy test is sort of the ultimate stressor. But, even for women who get a positive test, when they're dealing with infertility or if they've had a prior loss, they can still be incredibly anxious because then the worry becomes, will the pregnancy last? And will I be able to have a healthy baby? So there's a lot of milestones and hurdles to go through. There's a lot of waiting. And getting through each one of those hurdles can be really, really hard.
Yeah. And a part of the stresses of going through a treatment cycle, are there other stressors that you see that can be challenging among fertility patients?
Absolutely. There's a lot of stressors that are associated with infertility. And I'll talk about a few of them that I see commonly in my practice. I definitely see a lot of people that are coping with financial stress and strain because treatment can be so expensive. I also see a lot of people who are encountering stresses within their relationship. Two partners in a couple often cope with infertility really differently. And often if there's loss, they grieve loss very differently. So there can be a lot of stress and strain. And so working on communication and trying to get the couple to sort of see each other's perspectives and coping styles is really important. Sometimes it's friends or extended family that cause a lot of stress. Sometimes people say inappropriate things, or they're just not there to support my patient in the way that they had hoped. I also see a lot of people with really stressful work lives. So trying to balance the pressures of a professional career with fertility treatment can be really challenging. And then the last thing I'll mention, and this is something that I've been seeing a lot more recently, is people coming in who are really stressed out because they're trying to adhere to a strict fertility diet or exercise regimen, and they really beat themselves up if they, miss a couple of days, or they're at a party and they have a piece of cake or a glass of wine. So really some work around balance and, perfection is not attainable and certainly not necessary to have a successful fertility treatment.
I think I need to make that a bumper sticker. Perfection is not necessary or attainable. I know I do get these panic emails sometimes around dinner time where a patient, sends me a message and she says, "I just ate gluten." And I'm like, and why is that bad? It's okay. Tell us about your approach to helping women with infertility.
Yes. So first and foremost, I focus on the relationship between myself and my patients. I really want to get to know each individual that I'm working with, to hear their story, to understand what they've been through and where they want to go. Every single reproductive story is completely unique. And in order for me to work with a client, I need to really understand their priorities, their goals, and their concerns. I also think there is a lot of value in letting people come in and just sort of talk about where they are, what their worries are, what their hopes are. Sometimes that includes working through really difficult decisions that they might have to make on their journey. Sometimes it includes processing grief. So the specifics of what that looked like vary quite a bit, but the actual act of talk therapy and being able to sort of talk through it is one important element of what I do. Equally important is that I teach my clients strategies and tools that they can use to help manage their stress and to help them feel well. And I actually wholeheartedly believe that you can get through this process and feel well. So the tools that help to calm the mind and the body are really important. And I emphasize those tools along with self-care. So making time to actually implement these things in your life and to take care of yourself. And I mentioned before, a lot of my patients are really busy. So these are not painstaking, long things. They're short and simple strategies. Many of them can be done anywhere. Many of them take a few minutes, but in combination, they can really make a difference.
Wow. So what I understand is that you not only see patients on a one-on-one basis, but you also run some group sessions. Tell us about your work with groups.
Yes. So I have been running groups for almost 15 years, and it is one of my favorite things to do. I love running groups. I think part of the reason why I enjoy it so much is because the women get so much out of it. There's an added benefit of the social support, right? And you and I both know that infertility can be a very isolating and lonely experience. And a lot of times these women feel like that they don't have anyone to, share their stories with. And this gives them an opportunity to be around other people who are in a similar situation and to talk about what's going on for them and to hear other perspectives as well.
And what are the specific types of groups that you run?
Yes, so I have run general infertility support groups for pregnancy loss, groups for pregnancy after loss or after infertility. I run groups for women who are trying to conceive using donors or surrogates. Also for single women who are trying to build their families. So there's lots of different types of groups related to the reproductive arena. I've been running the group since 2005 or 2006. And I've always done them in person in my office. So this is going to be a new experience where I'm going to be offering online groups, and I'm really, really excited.
And are the topics going to be the same?
Yes, I anticipate starting groups with the same types of topics. And the first group that I'm going to run is going to be a general infertility group. That's always a great place to start. It's a place where anyone can come and get support no matter where they are in their journey.
How can women enroll in your group?
Yes, so women can enroll by reaching out directly to me. And I can give my email, my phone number. People can leave me a voicemail, a text message, whatever's easy. So my phone number is area code 925-732-6878. They can also send me an email at Nicole, Nicole, at Dr. Nicole Kangas, KANGAS.com. And once I hear from people, I will send out a poll and we will determine a time that is convenient for everybody. Sometimes we meet the lunch hour, the evening, the morning. We'll see what works.
Great. And then what about the cost? How much does it cost to join the group?
Yes, it is $50 per session, and I ask for people to pay for the sessions in advance. There's a total of 6 sessions, so we meet once per week for 6 weeks.
Is there anything else patients should know about your groups?
Yes, I want women to know that everyone is welcome in the groups. So single mothers, people in same-sex relationships. It is diversity of perspective and experience that really makes the group a really rewarding experience. So I hope that anybody who's watching who thinks that this might be of interest to them will reach out to me. I know sometimes people are a little bit nervous about participating in a group and they worry that they might be triggered by other people's stories, or they're not sure if they want to share their experiences. And if that's the case, I want to encourage people to contact me. I'm happy to do a phone consultation and we can determine if it seems like the right fit or not.
And you also might meet some lifelong friends by being in the group too, by having that shared experience.
Absolutely. So many of the women I work with go on to build lifelong friendships. And I love hearing the stories about the Facebook meetups and the live meetups for lunch. And later when people actually have their families and they're getting together with their children, it's amazing.
Yeah, that's great. Well, tell us again, where can patients find you?
Yes, so the best place to start is at my website. It's drnicolekangas.com. All of my contact information is there. Links to social media. There's a lot of resources for the fertility journey. Also a lot more information about my practice and my approach. And if you have questions from there, please reach out and don't hesitate to call or email me and we can set up a phone consultation.
Awesome. Well, thank you again for being on the show. Thank you for talking about this very important topic. I want everyone to build a fertility team around them. The T of team stands for therapy, and it doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you. We all need help in our life. And just like Nicole says, you don't have to suffer with emotional issues as you're being a fertility patient. When my patients see Nicole, they feel so much better about their experience through their IVF cycles. And so I want everyone to have that same experience. doesn't mean it's easy, but dealing with the emotional trauma is the hardest thing that I see my patients going through. So I'm just so incredibly lucky to have Dr. Nicole here in the Bay Area to help my patients, and I hope you guys will reach out to her too. Thank you, Nicole. I so appreciate you. Mwah, mwah. Thank you again for everything that you do. And we'll see you soon.
Thank
Bye.
you. Thank you so much.
Of course.
Welcome to the Egg Whisperer Show, a program exclusively designed to promote reproductive health awareness and discuss fertility preservation options. Here is your host, the Harvard-educated fertility specialist, Dr. Amy.
She's known as the Egg Whisperer.
Fertility expert Dr. Amy Vazadeh.
And you have yet another success story.
Just launched by an East Bay fertility doctor.